Yep. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Can everybody hear me and see me? What's up, Myth Don? What's up, Nathan? What's up, Lou Reviews? Milo, Hilda, Ice Chan. Do I need to turn it up? Probably not. What's up, Robbie? What's up, Sargon? Yusufian? I don't know why I even try to pronounce people's names. Lorena, Yogurt Man, Indecisive. Welcome to the stream. I'm pretty sure I didn't stream at all last week. That's my bad. My streams are kind of sporadic. Maybe one day I'll get them on track, but I try to stream most Mondays and Fridays. As usual, the easiest way to always know when I'm streaming is to click the little notification bell. But anyway, today we're going to look at the results of the survey that I put out a few weeks ago. For those that don't know, I do a little survey of my audience every year. Just like demographic stuff, getting ideas about where my audience's head is at, just so I can get, like, YouTube gives me a small amount of demographic type stuff, but I wanted to get more detailed information, and also just other stuff, like, you know, asking questions about what people are into, what they think about the channel, stuff like that. I did forget to do it last year in 2020. There's a lot going on in 2020, so it kind of slipped my mind. But I've done the survey, I think, every year since 2016 or 2017. And so we're continuing that tradition. Yeah, and since my audience has gotten a lot bigger over the past couple of years, so got a nice decent sample size this time. We got about 3,000 people that did the survey, so that's pretty dope. Not gonna sell your info to the government. No, I am not. By the way, they already got your info. And if the government don't got it, some private company on the internet has it for sure. Your ISP probably has it. Facebook, Twitter, if you use any social media, they probably have it. So if you're worried about that, you might need to get off the grid. Having trouble not being mad at people on the right, that's nothing new, and I think I have good reason to be, but it can be counterproductive. Any suggestions on remaining calm? Well, anger, I feel like anger can be either a productive or a destructive emotion, and it's kind of up to you how you channel your anger. I don't think you should focus on not being angry. You should focus on channeling your anger into something useful. But I do think that if you sort of sit down and talk to, or not even talk to people, but try to see things from other people's perspective, you might be more understanding of other people. I'm not saying you'll agree with people or you'll find justifications for other people's beliefs, but you may understand them. And when you understand why people come to the conclusions they come to, you probably end up being less angry about it and more concerned about trying to find solutions. All right, let's see what we got here. All right. By the way, if any of you ever need to do a survey, this is not sponsored at all, but this is just a good site that I've used for the past like 4 or 5 years. It's called All Counted. It's completely free, and they give you a lot of like really in-depth tools and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of like more popular sites like Survey Monkey and Survey something, but they're not free. Well, I mean, you get like a really baseline version for free, but this, like, you get everything that you need for free. It's dope. So I like this site. Anyway. So, there were 40 questions on this thing, I believe. And yeah, it says response 2,907 responses total. So almost 3,000. That's pretty good. In the past, I think maybe the most I would get would be 1,000 or less. So the first question was, where did you find this survey? And obviously the huge chunk of it is YouTube. I should have differentiated between YouTube video and YouTube community tab, because I did mention it in both of those places. I would be interested to see where each of those came from. Well, the first question was unskippable. It was the only question that was unskippable. And the only reason I did that is because I've had issues in the past where if you accidentally push enter or something, it will submit the survey without you answering any questions. So just to prevent that, I made the first question unskippable. So YouTube, 90% of people saw YouTube. That makes sense. That's where the vast majority of my audience is, where I have the most reach. Twitter was second, which I guess also makes sense. That's like the second most the place where I have the second most reach, I would say. And Discord, Facebook, other, Tumblr, interesting. And then I guess some people don't read the answers. Like this says you mentioned it in your stream highlight, but that's YouTube. That's what the stream highlight was on YouTube. Reddit, that's something that I probably should have added as a choice. But Tumblr, that's interesting. I don't know if I posted it on Tumblr, but I know that my YouTube videos, I have it set up so that my YouTube videos are automatically shared on Tumblr. So that's probably how someone saw it on Tumblr. By the way, sorry for people that follow me on Tumblr. I just don't use Tumblr anymore. I just don't go there. There's no like particular reason. I mean, it's just kind of like a ghost town over there these days. Yeah, it was important to me that all of the questions be optional, because if you don't want to answer it, then you shouldn't have to. All right, second question was, how are you? I'm okay was number one, and good not great was number two, and that's pretty good. I honestly, like, on the internet, I generally expect people to be more negative than positive, so I'm good that the neutral to positive responses were more popular. But of course, there are, I don't want to erase the people that weren't feeling too good. And of course, the most positive one was the least least popular. Where can you find the survey? Hold on. Well, actually, it may be closed now, and if it's not closed, it's going to close soon. So it probably wouldn't be useful to share the link at this point. But yeah, a couple weeks ago, I shared a link to the survey just to get some responses. Obviously, I guess you had to be in the right place at the right time, but I did share it on all my social media and on YouTube. So I don't know how else to get it out to people. How am I doing? I'm doing well. I'm good. So what were the other responses? This is a thing. I'm kind of like, I appreciate the other responses, but I feel like putting other encourages people to not answer the question, and that's a little frustrating sometimes. But that's fine, I guess. Higher than good, but excellent doesn't sound right. Good, thanks for asking. Turbulent. And then some people are saying, how about you? As if I could actually respond. But I'm doing good now. And of course, how many others were there? There's like 64 others, so I don't actually have to read each one. I guess on a question like this, it gives people a chance to vent. Amazing plus terrible. That's interesting. But yeah, people are, I guess, kind of venting on things that happened to them. Someone got broken up with, someone's stressed out because of the school, someone's having migraines. I'm definitely not going to read all 64 of them. But we can skim through. Getting my first vac shot tomorrow. I actually got my first vaccine shot the other day. Pretty excited. Pretty exciting. And I should get my next one in about a month. I think they said it has to be at least 21 days after the first one or something like that. It's scientifically proven that making a specific request of your internet audience will be missed by a portion of that audience, no matter how widely you advertise it. Well, yeah, I don't even think you need to do a science to realize that. But But yeah, in general, I'm glad. I'm happy that most people are okay or good, because like I said, I feel like I feel like it's like hip to be negative on the internet. It's like it's cool to be negative, and that's one of the things that I try to counter in my content personally. Even though I often talk about serious topics or topics which may be a little bit disappointing or depressing, I still try to exude positivity, and I think that's annoying to some people, but fuck them. How's my pandemic experience been now versus when it first started? I don't know. I feel like it's not that much different, besides the fact that as time goes on, people are sort of taking the whole thing less and less seriously. But also now, cases have, dropped dramatically. People are getting vaccinated. So, but I feel like my interaction with it has not changed that much. I live in Alabama, where they're about to end the mask mandate, I think in like a week. So we'll see how that affects everything. Wouldn't be surprised if hospitalizations spiked again, which I think they're already going up again, but we'll see how that goes. I seem hella depressed right now. Well, I'm not. I'm just a chill person, I guess. I'm not one of those streamers that's just like really like yelling and jumping around and shit. Next question is, how old are you? And I think this pretty much matches up with what YouTube tells me. So the vast majority of people are 23 to 30. I did different age brackets just for more clarity, but yeah, the pretty strong majority of people are 23 to 30, and followed by 19 to 22 and 31 to 40. So 19 to 40 is like the majority, like that's a good 80% of my audience, it looks like. But still a pretty decent amount of 16 to 18. And a decent amount of 41 to 55 also. Or even 55 and older. Video energy is different from live stream energy, for sure. In my videos, I think I'm clearly more so performing, I guess. But the live stream is just me. It's just me. And me is just a really, really chill, even-tempered, easygoing person. I don't know. I mean, I just try to be positive. Some people don't like positive. People like to wallow in misery. I mean, I guess toxic positivity is a thing, but I think a lot of regular positivity gets branded as toxic positivity because people just don't like. I mean, it's kind of cliche. I don't know why my homies thing is not working properly, by the way. I definitely have more than 0 homies, but anyway. Um, I lost my train of thought there, but I just think it's kind of a cliche because I think that people are unhappy and they want other people to be unhappy as well. They think it's unfair that other people are not unhappy when they are. So it makes them upset when they see people who aren't unhappy. And I think that's kind of rude. Yeah, Bo, the fifth column is cool. Why do I think that people are so pessimistic online? Well, there's a lot of reasons. For one, we're just sort of bombarded with negative information all the time. Social media is full of outrageous stuff. Even the local news is very negative. The most disappointing and infuriating topics are always the ones that rise to the top on social media. Also, I think it's easier to be pessimistic. It requires more effort to be compassionate, I guess. It's a lot easier. I think that being negative is the path of least resistance. So unless you know, I think positivity comes naturally for some people, but probably not for most people. But I do think that we're bombarded with bad news all the time, which is a bit unfair, because I don't think that the world is all bad news. But that's what gets the clicks, that's what gets the views, that's what gets people to tune in. So that's what everybody focuses on. And there are also a lot of like public figures and a lot of I'll say there's a lot of public figures, a lot of presenters, a lot of speakers, a lot of pundits, a lot of people who have a vested interest in convincing everyone that the world sucks and people suck. And a lot of people sort of get influenced by that. You know, even if you look, it's not just politics, but if politics is a great example. If you are, you know, if you're someone like, I don't know, like if you're like a Fox News opinion host, you have to convince people that things are just going terribly, especially when there's a Democratic president. You have a vested interest in convincing people that we're losing our way of life. The conservative values are being eroded, things like that. But even on the other side, if you're like a leftist or something, you have a vested interest in convincing people that the system is unfixable and we can't trust anybody in power, and it doesn't matter what you do, we're going to be screwed anyway. You know, stuff like that. Anyway. By the way, let me know if the stream is messing up. I'm getting some error messages and stuff over here. But that's just how I feel. So yeah, when I the first time I did this survey, I had a and say this, but I had an answer choice for 13 and under, but it turns out you're not allowed to collect information about people who are 13 and under in the United States. So that's not okay. Don't do that. Yeah, I don't. I honestly don't even know. I said let me know, but I don't even know what to do about it, to be honest. Because it's either my internet or it's YouTube. And I don't think I can fix either of those things. It's probably laggy for a lot of people because I'm getting a lot of errors. Yeah, I don't know. It just like randomly messes up sometimes. It could be my internet also. My internet has kind of been a little bit weird lately, or for the past couple of days. We had a bunch of like storms and tornadoes here in Alabama, and I feel like it kind of sent everything on the fritz. I just did a speed test though, and the speed test seems fine. So it's either YouTube or something with the internet. So we'll just go for a little bit and see if it gets better. It looks like it's kind of stabilized a little bit. How would you describe how you feel about T1J's videos? Vast majority of people said they're pretty good, worth a watch. Second said they're some of my favorite videos on the internet. Watchable could be better. They used to be great. Now they're not as great. Only 7 people said that. Nobody said that they're pretty rubbish, so that's good. 57 people said so-so, but I watch when I'm bored. And of course, many other. I just found the channel earlier, but I can already tell I'm gonna like most of them. There's definitely a bias in this one because it is my audience that I'm asking, but I think that there's something to be said about the level of engagement that your audience has with your videos. Like, for example, if I don't know, like if Natalie, like ContraPoints, if she did this question, I bet that they are some of my favorite videos on the internet would 100% be the #1 response. So I think it's interesting to see like the level of engagement that you have. But that's cool. I mean, I can deal with they're pretty good. Yeah, it looks like it's stabilized. I guess it was just like a small hiccup. So a lot of I got a lot of responses that are like, I just started watching, or I'm a new viewer. And then some people added like a lot of details. It's refreshing to hear people talk about these things in a non-hostile way. That's pretty dope. Well, someone like ContraPoints would probably have a negative response also, but I think it's also because a lot of people who aren't actually in her audience would do the survey, which I guess is one of the benefits that I have, because I doubt that many people who don't actually watch my videos did the survey. And I guess hate watching is a thing, but I remember hearing you say years ago, T1J, about race and intellect. I'm now also convinced it's environmental factors almost exclusively, if not exclusively. I think that that's probably more likely, but I mean, I think we should pay attention to data, but also we don't need to do what a lot of the race realist type people like to do and sort of misinterpret the data for our own causes. Am I into pizza? Pizza's okay. I was thinking about this recently. I'm not as excited about pizza as I used to be. And it may just be because the quality of the pizza where I am has just dropped so drastically over time. So, you know, like maybe if I lived in a place that's like famous for their good pizza, like New York or Chicago or something, maybe I could get back into pizza. But whenever I have pizza these days, I'm just like, whatever. It says, some I love, very true and smart, but sometimes a bit boring. That's constructive criticism. Sometimes I think that my videos could be a little more, just have like a little more going on with them. But it's hard to say with the video essay style, it's hard to do sometimes, because sometimes you just have to get the point out. And sometimes that just takes just straight up talking for like 8 minutes or something. So it's hard to do sometimes. Maybe I just had pizza too much in my life. I mean, I had pizza literally Saturday, and it was like, it's good, but it's like, I'm not excited about it. Like, I get way more excited about like a steak or some fried chicken or some fried rice. I get way more excited about that than pizza. I also want to try making my own pizza. I've never done that before. So yeah, a lot of these comments are like very similar. A lot of just, I really like your take. I enjoy that you say things in a you know, calm and reasonable way. Or a lot of I'm new here. Like, this is interesting. This person has only seen the I used to be an incel clip. So they haven't even seen like a real video. They've just seen the stream highlight. I guess pizza stopped being special. Just the taste isn't even like as good to me. Like, they're just getting old. All right. When did you first start watching T1J's videos? Vast majority of people in 2020, which is very interesting. That makes sense though. 2020 had a lot of like big videos hit. And then before that is 2019. So 2018 to 2020 was a huge period of growth for my channel. I went from like 80K subscribers to like 200K. So that was a big period of growth for me. Cause I was like stuck at 80K for like 2 years. But yeah, almost half the people in 2020. I guess there are some people, 6 people said I don't watch T1J's videos. No one said I did not know T1J made videos, so that's cool. We got some people that have been around, some old heads before 2013. A lot of actually more people than I expected from 2013 2015. That's 2000, I think 2013 or 2014 is when I got my first big boost. That's like when I think it's like when I first hit like 10,000 subscribers. And then 2016 through 2018 I think was I think I was like really sort of plateaued during that time. That's when I was like, I hit like 80 something thousand subscribers. And I was just stuck there for a while. But that was also a time where I was making like really consistent content. Like almost every week I would have a video. That would be really short videos, but I was really putting in the grind for making videos. And then 2019 is when things started to turn around. 2020 was huge for me. 2020 is still probably my most successful year ever. I agree that 2020 is when I made some of my best videos. When I was like back in the day, I used to watch YouTubers that just like ranted and raged about things. And maybe it's just because I was younger. I think that younger people are into stuff like that. But when you get a little older, you're just like, man, I'm just trying to relax. I don't want to watch some fucking dude screaming. So yeah, that kind of content is just I'm just not into it at all. I don't mind. Like I talked about how I'm a positive person. I try to come at things from a positive angle. I don't necessarily need other people to do that, but I need you to at least be reasonable, you know. Like for example, I think one of the best channels on YouTube is Some More News, Cody Johnson's channel, And I would not describe that channel as positive. In fact, it is, it's very cynical sometimes, and I rarely feel good after I'm done watching it. But I also think it's brilliant, and I think it's reasonable, and I think he makes really great arguments. And I just think it's a really good channel. So I don't need everybody to be positive, if that's not what you want to do, but at least be reasonable. Don't just be screaming and raging, all the time. Well, I'm 35, so I'm probably older than the average viewer. But I don't know. It probably depends on the person. But when I was like in my early 20s, I used to watch people just rant and rage all the time. Because I don't know, it's kind of like this. I guess if you have a lot of anger in you, then you like watching angry people because you feel like you can relate to them. But as I got older, a lot of that anger just felt kind of dumb, and I didn't relate to it anymore. But yeah. What's T1J's real name? I asked a couple questions like this just to see. It's just to get an idea of what is. Wait, this is in front of the camera. Wait. Interesting. There was something in front of the camera, but you couldn't see it because of the depth of field. That's interesting. Lenses are weird. Anyway, just to see like what information is actually coming across. I also did this to see if people would guess even though they don't know. So the vast majority of people don't know. It's which is interesting because it's not like my name is. It's not private, you know. My name is definitely public. It's very easy to find out what my name is. But most people don't know, and that's fine. Hilariously, well, and obviously the second one is Kevin, which is actually my name, for those that don't know. The third most is Andre, which is kind of a bait. I think Andre, I put a name that sounds like it could be a black person's name, and a lot of people picked it. And then I don't know, I think people just guessed. I don't know what people get, like what was people's rationale for guessing certain ones. I had John, Justin, Theo, but at least most people were honest and said I don't know. First time I caught a stream, love your content. Appreciate it, Marcy. All right, now we're getting to the like nitty gritty of demographics. What country do you live in? And again, this lined up pretty much with what YouTube tells me. Obviously, the United States is number 1, Canada is number 2, UK is number 3. That makes the most sense. The 3 largest English-speaking countries would probably watch an English-speaking channel. Germany is always, I think it's always 4th, which I'm not exactly sure why that is. Maybe y'all can enlighten me why Germany is higher than something like Australia, which is, you know, an English-speaking country. Netherlands is pretty high. You think Kevin is the coolest name ever? I think it's a pretty generic name. Yeah, it is interesting. Well, I'm pretty sure that Andre was higher because it sounds like it could be a black person's name. But the others, but it is weird. Like Justin and people, well, Theo. I think Andre and Theo, those sound like the ones that could be a black person's name, and then Justin and John are more generic names. And the country demographics are interesting because you get to see like, oh man, I got like one viewer in Zimbabwe. That's wild. That's pretty cool. It's probably more than one, but just one that did the survey. Zambia, Vietnam, Venezuela, Uganda, Saudi Arabia, Kazakhstan, China. Got a viewer in China. What? Isn't like YouTube blocked in China or some shit? So yeah, this is just interesting. Did I not put, I should have put an other on this just in case I missed one. I forgot to do that. Oh no, I did do another. Okay. Hong Kong. Yeah, that was one that I missed. A lot of people put Hong Kong. Well, not a lot, but several people put Hong Kong. That was one that I missed. And then a lot of people have like very specific situations where it's like, all right, well, I live in America, but I'm studying in another country. So yeah, I gotta remember to put Hong Kong on there next time. All right, so for if you live in the United States, what state or territory do you live in? So this is also just kind of to see what percentage of people live in the United States. About half, which makes sense. But that's always important to keep in mind. I make a lot of videos that are very America-centric. And I think that still is okay because a lot of people who don't live in America are still sort of surrounded by American politics and still interested in American politics. But I also need to remember like, hey, not everybody here is from America, so just keep that in mind. I think this is somewhat relative to population of the states, California and Texas. California has always been like just a pretty clear majority, and a lot of that just because California there's a lot of people that live there. But I also think just California is just the culture of California makes it more likely that people are watching YouTube. You met so many Chinese people using VPNs to access YouTube. Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess they use VPNs. But it seems like, wait, so there's like Chinese content creators that use VPNs to make content? I feel like that's pretty risky, right? I'm surprised that New York is lower than Texas and Washington just because of New York City, which obviously is, I mean, it is the most populated city, right? Or is it second? But still, I would think that it would be more, but I don't know. So what's the, I was gonna see what's less. No one from North Dakota or South Dakota. Interesting. That's interesting. And then, is there anybody from Puerto Rico? I think I did have that. There's DC. Okay, yeah, a couple people from Puerto Rico. How do I have 2 from Wyoming, but no one from North or South Dakota? That's interesting. What are my takes on the Chauvin trial? I forgot how to say that. I mean, I don't know what I don't have any unique takes. I think my take is the same as everyone else. I hope that they fucking do the right thing and lock this guy up. No one from Guam, American Samoa, Virgin Islands, or Mariana Islands. I follow, interact with T1J and his content on. Again, YouTube is going to be the #1. And Twitter is going to be the #2. Got the Discord. By the way, join the Discord if you like. Go to theonejanitor.com/Discord. It's a pretty chill community with you can have conversations about lots of different topics. We are coming close to 1,000 members of the Discord, so that's pretty dope. I do also have Instagram. My Instagram kind of sucks though, but it's there if you want to follow me. It's pretty much just selfies of me. That's all it is. So if you want to see that, maybe in the future I'll like make it more professional or more polished, but that's kind of all I do on it. Do I have any plan on making videos that touch on Canadian politics? I mean, I don't have any specific plan, but I'm down to make any video that I think is interesting and that I think that have something unique to say about. I just don't know anything about Canadian politics, and I tend not to talk about things that I don't know anything about. But I can, if there's some like issue that I think is worth bringing up, then I can do the research and figure it out. It was very serendipitous that the bot dropped the Discord link right when I was starting to talk about Discord. So still got some people watching on Facebook. I have 3 people that put in real life. I wonder who those people are. I could guess. A couple of people on Curious Cat. For those that don't know, Curious Cat is just kind of one of those sites that you can ask anonymous questions on. Kind of sort of like Ask FM, but people don't use Ask FM that much anymore, it seems like. Also, whenever I go to Ask FM, my browser tells me that it's a dangerous website, so I don't know what the hell's going on there. No one on Snapchat, which is fair because I don't use Snapchat. So, and then one that I miss is Nebula. A few people follow me on Nebula. League of Legends. That's something that I didn't expect. RSS feed, PayPal. I guess that counts. I only watch your videos on YouTube. I can't say I've ever interacted with them. I think that watching something counts as interacting with it. Do you agree with that? Also, I think that I put watch. Oh no, I put follow. Okay, but you know, follow. I probably didn't destroy anybody in lane, to be honest, but we'll see. Do I plan on making videos that revisit past things we've already covered? Like, for example, we did a second video about cultural appropriation. I don't have any specific plan, but possibly. So a lot of people put Nebula. So I gotta remember to put that next time I make the survey. I guess I didn't even think that so many people followed me on Nebula. That's pretty cool. Of the following choices, what is your favorite color? This is kind of a random question, but it's also a question for like design ideas, merch ideas, things like that. For example, purple is I think purple is usually number one, which is interesting. Blue and purple are always number one, which is interesting. And orange and yellow are always last. Even though orange and yellow are probably my two favorites out of this list, but just seems like in general blue and purple are more popular than the other colors. And in terms of like merch and stuff, those colors also sell better. So I think in the future I will add black and brown to the list, possibly white, but I just wanted to do like the major primary and secondary colors, just like a very generalized thing. Other than that, it's pretty people like the warmer colors, no, the cooler colors, and don't like the warmer colors as much. People like blue, purple, green, and don't like red, orange, yellow as much. Also, some people skipped this question, which is weird to me, but I mean, I guess they were like, I don't like, my favorite color is vivid tangerine and it's not on the list. Or like, my favorite color is periwinkle. But I specifically wanted, like, that's why I said of the following choices. Yeah, the graph is confusing because the colors don't line up. If you could have any career right now, what would you do? And of course, there are thousands of answers here, so I'm not going to go through all of them, but at least not here on stream. Author, YouTuber, writer, art, ER doc, YouTuber. So many people want to be YouTubers. Writer, filmmaker. Nothing, literally nothing. My ideal career is not to have to work to earn a living. Hey, that's fair. A lot of people want to be writers, software engineer, pharmacist, diplomacy. Do we class black as a color? Yeah, it's a color. Rabbi, psychotherapist. I do not dream of labor. Yeah, I'm sure that there would be some kind of woke leftist take in here somewhere. Although the question doesn't imply or say anything about dream. It just says, if you could have any career, what would you do? So people sort of interpreted it in their own way so that they could give their own little woke take. illustrator, community care activism. There might be a way to like create like an Excel spreadsheet of these answers and then sort of compare certain questions to each other. So like I could compare like how many people from the United States like the color blue, but I've never tried that before. Maybe one day. Game developer. A lot of people want to do art, like artist and writer type stuff, and then also a lot of people want to do like doctor type stuff. Child psychologist. I mean, color changes depending whether you're talking about pigment, whether you're talking about display colors in electronics and web media. It differs when you're talking about print. It differs when you're talking about light. So it's all different depending what you're talking about. So we can just talk about it in a very colloquial way. We don't need to be pedants. NBA analyst, that's a pretty interesting one. Will these results be posted anywhere? I'm not gonna post the results, but you can rewatch this live stream if you like. It will be saved to a playlist. Just go to my channel page and you should see, as soon as I'm done with this live stream, it should be up there. But have a good one. Thanks for checking out the stream. So yeah, a lot of illustrator, writer, a lot of engineer type stuff, a lot of artist type stuff. And then the next question is, are you doing that? Meaning, are you doing the career that you said that you would want to do? A lot of people said yes, which is cool. Most people said not yet, but getting there, which is also cool. But also a lot of people said no, which makes sense. Some people said kinda, but it seems like most people are either on their way there or kinda on their way there. So that's cool. And then some people elaborated here. Don't know yet, thinking about it, happy with the field I think they maybe didn't get their answer in. I don't know if I have what it takes. Publishing my debut novel this year, that's cool. Guess I'll go to the end just to give some other people chance. Like, I feel like I'm probably just reading the same people's responses, so maybe just some other types of people here. 38 and don't think I'll ever be able to answer. Is that what it is? It's a hobby. Hard right now, but eventually better. Yes, I just don't get paid for it. Lol. If you would have asked me maybe like 10 years ago, well, maybe not 10 years ago, like 20 years ago, like when I was in high school, if you would have asked me what my dream career is, I would have said something related to art probably. I mainly either wanted, like, I really wanted to be a penciler, a comic book penciler. I wanted to draw superheroes for a living. And then later I wanted to get into drawing comic strips because I love comic strips. I think they're dope. But I will say, if you asked me like 10 years ago what my dream career was, I probably would have said YouTuber. And I'm doing that now, so that's dope. That kind of worked out, I guess. All right, thanks for checking out the stream. Lou Reviews. What's your romantic relationship status? Most people are single, it seems like. In fact, the vast majority of people are single, which makes sense. Most people in my audience seem to be on the young side, less than 30. And these days, I feel like people are settling down way later than in the past. But the second most popular response is in a monogamous relationship, but not married. Lots of people married, which is interesting. And I also wanted to see how common non-monogamy was in my audience. And it seems like there's a decent amount, but not a lot. 4%. So 11% is married. About 4.5% people say they're in a non-monogamous relationship. I probably should have asked people who consider themselves non-monogamous or poly, but who aren't in a relationship. And then casual relationship, engaged, separated, divorced. And then sometimes, again, some people also when people select other, it doesn't mean that they haven't already answered one of the questions. So you can do both for most of the questions. This person says, I am retired from that nonsense. Committed, cohabitating, platonic relationship. That's an interesting one. Maybe I should add something like that as an option. Asexual and aromantic. That doesn't really answer the question, but that's fine. Well, I think that the demographics of the people that watch the live streams is probably different than the demographics of just the overall video audience. There's a response for not being in a relationship. So I think that aromantic people who aren't in relationships, that would be where you would answer. All right, I'm gonna try not to linger too much on the questions anymore because I don't want this stream to be 4 hours long. Do you have children? 92% of people said no. 7% says yes, and 15 people said I have one on the way. So that's cool. That's just a good thing to know for anybody that has an audience. Like, do they have children? And seems like largely the answer is no. What languages can you speak fluently? English, of course, 99%. That makes sense. My channel is in English. If you cannot speak English fluently, it would be hard to understand my videos. Although I do know that there are people who watch my videos who aren't fluent in English, although they're learning English. And that's one of the reasons why I try to make sure most of my videos are captioned, because it helps people who aren't great at English. What were children supposed to respond to the question about if you have children? First of all, I mean, I guess if you're like 14, you could be considered a child, but just answer no, you don't have children. But some teenagers do have children, so. Spanish was the second most, which I guess makes sense because I think that's the second most common language in America. French, interesting, and then German. When am I fluent? Well, I'm sure that there's some technical definition of fluency. But if you can have, a conversation with anyone in that language and be fine, you're probably fluent, in my view. If there's a lot of understanding, comprehension barriers, or you struggle to think of the correct word or the correct grammar, then maybe not fluent. Not even the correct grammar, but just the correct word for what you're saying. Because grammar doesn't really matter. It's really all about comprehension. But for example, some people can speak English and have conversations, but you can tell they're not fluent because there's just certain words that they just don't know, certain basic words. I watched a video recently where I don't know if it's a popular YouTuber, is an American dude who lives in Korea. You might know about this channel. The dude's name is Dave. The channel is called World of Dave or Life of Dave or some shit like that. Dave's World. I can't remember. But anyway, he was having a conversation with Hachubby, who is a Korean streamer. And Hachubby can speak English, but she's not great at English, but she can speak it and have a conversation with people. But there was a part where he said something. I think he said the phrase "what else," and she just didn't. She'd never heard the word "else" before. I think something like that. But she didn't know what the phrase "what else" meant. So if it's stuff like that, then I wouldn't say that you're fluent. But I don't think fluency is necessary for you to be able to have conversations with people. So let's see what I missed. I have so many languages here. I can't remember. Aren't there there's hundreds of languages out there. And I every time I do the survey, I add 2 or 3 more. But I always miss some. Estonian, Arboresh. I don't even know what that is. Catalan, Marathi, Gujarati, Kazakh, Armenian, Menangese, Lithuanian. See, a lot of these I just never even heard of. I speak Cantonese fluently, but not Mandarin. Do I not have both of those on here? I guess I just put Chinese. Yeah, I put sign language, and I know there's like a bunch of different types of sign language, but I just kind of wanted to just add sign language. I would like to learn some languages, but it's just hard, man. Somali. This person says, haha, none. Haitian Creole. So I definitely got to add Catalan, Lithuanian, and Estonian because I see that several times. Ukrainian. Yeah, a lot of people put Ukrainian. I gotta add that to the list as well. Scottish Gaelic. Wait, Lao Shu? You said he died? Wait, what? I used to watch Lao Shu a lot. Yeah, I used to watch a lot of language related channels and polyglot channels. They're really interesting. I don't know that they really help you learn languages, but they're interesting. I didn't know that he died though. That's really sad. That sucks. Yeah, I watched him way back in the day when like before he like got big. And I was like really happy that he actually like his channel blew up because he had like maybe like 8,000 subscribers when I found him. But yeah, that sucks. But yeah, he used to like do this thing where he would just like go to the mall or something and just start talking languages at people. Or like he would like go to like a Chinese restaurant or something and just start speaking their language to them and like because he's just like this black dude, so you don't expect him to be fluent in all these languages. I just looked at an article. It said he had heart complications, but I don't know. Yeah, that sucks. I did not know that. Looks like the stream is messing up again, but hopefully it fixes. All right, let's try to get through this. I feel like we're only about halfway. Or I can do a part 1 and part 2 maybe, but I don't know if that's gonna be, if y'all are gonna be satisfied with that. In your estimate, which of the following best describes how often T1J puts out new videos? And this is just to test perceptions of how often I post, because YouTube is very selective about who they show videos to. But most people say about twice a month, which is about right. So people, most people have the idea. Technically, it's closer to about 1.5 times a month. It's maybe about every 3 weeks or so. I don't know what these other people are talking about a few times per week. Maybe because they're thinking of the live streams. And also, some people say once every few months. That's a problem if people think I post that infrequently, because that's definitely not true. Okay. In US dollars, how much money do you make roughly per year? And, you know, this is kind of a basic demographic question. Obviously, a lot of people skipped it, but it's a good thing to know. Most people said none, which is fair. And then second was $1 to $10,000. And again, this is in US dollars. I'm not even sure how, if people even understand how to convert that to whatever money they make. I mean, you can do it online pretty easily, but maybe not everybody understands that. Have I heard about Lindsay Ellis drama on Twitter? I did hear about it. I pretty much subtweeted about it. I really tend to avoid dramatic situations, especially when it seems like the people involved don't want it to be a thing. And especially when it's something like this, which I think is like real stupid. But yeah. So we got a few people that make 150K or more, but in general, we've got we're on the lower end, which I think probably applies to a lot of left-wing and socially active channels. It's like younger people, a lot of college students don't have a lot of income, and also like a lot of wealthy people are I think there's less likely to be left wing, I guess. Religious affiliation, and this is one of those questions that's kind of like all over the place. There's like so many different responses. I try to just add a good mix of responses here. But pretty solid majority says atheism, and I guess that makes sense. I think that just religion is just kind of falling out of popularity as time goes on, especially among the younger generations, which is most of the people who watch. COVID could have changed the results for sure. I've heard of bad empanada. I don't know if I'm that familiar with what they do. Yeah, atheism, agnostic. That's a good like 60 to 70%, which is pretty wild. And also, like, people were allowed to choose more than one here, so this doesn't necessarily mean that that's literally all of it. But atheism, agnosticism, and no affiliation are clearly just blow all the others out of the water. Christianity is the next one, which makes sense. I'm a United States person, so Christianity is the dominant religion in the United States. And then just a lot of other stuff. Sikhism, paganism, Protestantism. Then we got some others that people put in. Brazilian Umbanda. Grew up Catholic, now ex-Mormon. Quaker, Taoism. I probably should have added Taoism, I guess. I'm not sure why I didn't put it. Quaker, Episcopalian. Rasta. Christian atheism. I don't even know what that is. Animism. Baha'i. I had a couple of friends in high school actually that were Baha'i. What does Heiko stand for? Again, this is sort of like the question where I asked people what my name was, just to see like what information is being sent across. Most people say I don't know what that is. That leads me to believe that most people don't watch my videos to the end, because well, I guess I could have put. I guess they could have seen it before, but don't know what it means. I just realized I don't have a I don't know option. I should have I don't know, and then also I've never seen that before. I should have both of those. But it seems like most people who guessed correctly. I think a lot of people guessed this one because it was absurd and funny. And I don't know why 69 people guessed this. Just taking a shot. Yeah, I guess we just have to define what we mean by religion and what we mean by religious and what we mean by theist, I guess, and atheist. I guess I don't understand the point of being religious if you're atheist, but I mean, to each his own. What TV shows, movies, podcasts, books, comics, video games, or other media are you into today? Again, this is just another like free answer, so there's over 1,000 answers. Sports games, Cooney Pop 2, Psychonauts, Welcome to Night Vale, Dune, Waiting for Dune, Drag Race, Family Guy, just Family Guy. The Good Place. I just did a video about The Good Place. The Office, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Americast. Stand Up, Breaking Bad, Beastars, My Brother and Me, Hades Town, Skyrim, Baldur's Gate. Yeah, I guess yeah, it just goes back to like is simply following customs and traditions, does that count as being religious? Maybe. So yeah, these are ones I'm probably just gonna have to go through and look at, but you know, there's a few: Queen's Gambit, Stardew Valley, The Untamed, Neopets, The Sims, Adventure Time, Tarantino, Marvel, Jeopardy. I mean, I back most of this stuff, to be honest. There's a lot of good shit out there. With regard to gender, which of the following applies to you? So yeah, demographics usually have a gender question on them, but they're usually like very, very basic and non-detailed. So I just wanted to expand it out and see what I could get. Cis man, cis woman, that makes sense. The top two choices. Interestingly, it was pretty even between cis man, cis woman. Surprisingly, non-binary. Maybe that's not so surprising, but non-binary was the third most. I would have expected. I guess I would have expected maybe trans to be more, but trans women and men are last on mine, and that kind of makes sense. I think a lot of trans people, they like to follow other queer creators more because they relate to it more. So I guess that makes sense. Unsure, questioning, apathetic, no label, agender, genderless, gender fluid. A lot of people, I think, added gender queer. So I guess I'll add gender queer next time. I think I thought that gender queer was the same as non-binary, I think, but I guess that's wrong. Trans feminine, and there's, you know, audigender, gender vague. There's like all kinds of like very specific things that I don't even know. Someone definitely put. I can't believe someone is still making helicopter jokes. I think I might be bisexual, but that's not the question. Don't want to say. Okay, you can skip the question. Am I into The Sims? I mean, I like The Sims. I don't like play it a lot, but I think it's fine. I really despise being a woman, but I don't want to be non-binary or a trans man. Interesting. Gray gender. Demi boy, bi-gender. Demi girl, trans femme. Maybe I should add Demi. A lot of people are adding or responding with Demi girl and Demi bro, Demi boy. I'm not even sure what that is, to be honest. I'm definitely gonna add gender queer though. What kind of content would you like to see from T1J? Videos about broader social political topics? That makes sense because that's what I make. Informative, educational videos. A lot of people said that. And that's interesting too, because I don't think that I make educational videos normally. But if people want to see them, then I can do that. Videos about news, current events. That's also interesting because, again, that's something I do that sometimes, but not a lot. A lot of people said, I don't care. I'll try out whatever T1J makes. I expect a lot of people to say that, even though I don't think it's true, but people will say it because people want to be polite. Pop culture videos. I think pop culture videos are successful for me when I combine pop culture and social issues. When I only make pop culture videos, nobody ever watches them, so I don't know about that. Self-help life advice videos. That's interesting. But we're getting into, there's a big drop from pop culture to self-help. So these are the ones that are probably less popular. And then on the bottom, live streams. See, this is why a lot of, I know a lot of you guys like the live streams, but most people don't really give a shit about the live streams. I like doing them and I'm going to keep doing them, but I think a lot of people are confused why, why I've got 250k subscribers, but only 50 to 100 viewers in the live stream. Well, it's because no one gives a shit about the live stream. I don't know why, but books, written blogs, those it doesn't seem like people care about that either. A lot of people, well, not that many people hit other, but the people who did hit other didn't really add anything, it doesn't look like. Political analysis. Men's mental health. See, they're like suggesting video topics, not like broad ideas. What race, ethnicity do you most identify with? This is another really broad one where there's a lot of different choices and you can choose more than one. I've talked about this in videos before, but my audience is very white. And I think that's just because LeftTube is very white, and a lot of my content, a lot of my audience is associated with other LeftTubers. So a lot of times you'll get suggested my videos after watching a H Bomber Guy video, or after watching a Lindsay Ellis video, or after watching a ContraPoints video. So the audience just carries over. And I think that's just why that is the way it is. And YouTube, I think it's also the algorithm in general. The YouTube algorithm, I think, places channels into categories, and when they see my channel, they don't think of it as a racially specific channel. So I don't think they specifically say, oh, we need to send this video out to more black people, or we need to send this video out to people who watch channels made, or who watch videos made by black people. But that's my guess. My guess is just because my video is associated with LeftTube, and LeftTube is white. Is mostly white. And a lot of my videos directly came over from other audience. Like, I got a lot of subscribers just from ContraPoint shouting me out a couple times. I've gotten maybe like 10,000 subscribers from ContraPoints. So a lot of people specifically come from these white LeftTubers. But yeah, that's how it is. And then all of the others are kind of like even. You got black, Latin American, mixed race, and then some of these other more specific ones. I just wanted to see what people would put. Not that many Asian people. Yeah, it is what it is. It's white AF. This question sucks. Does it suck? Why does it suck? I'm not sure. Latina is an ethnicity. I would say it is, right? Especially in America. What's your favorite movie of all time? A lot of good answers here. Spirited Away, Django Unchained, Inside Out, Princess Mononoke, Millennium Actress or Perfect Blue, Spider-Verse, sadly Titanic. Why sadly? Titanic is great. Don't be ashamed of your faves. Spider-Man, like the first Spider-Man, The Princess Bride. I back all these. Blues Brothers, Moonlight, another Spirited Away, Clueless. Cat Black's video is very good. LeftTube So White. I also touch on it briefly in my video. I'm kind of over this whole LeftTube thing. Big Lebowski, Nightmare Before Christmas. The Matrix. I love The Matrix. Shrek 2. I'm well, not surprised, but it's interesting, like the variety. I thought there were certain ones that I was gonna see like over and over again, but there's a pretty big variety. Spirited Away, I think, is the one that I've seen the most times so far, which is interesting. I mean, Spirited Away is fucking amazing. Don't get me wrong. Fantastic Mr. Fox. That movie's so good. Back to the Future. I don't like movies. Fair. Don't have one. Casablanca. Will the count? Oh yeah. I forgot you could do that. Yeah. It'll show the ones that have been said a bunch of times. So The Princess Bride. I mean, The Princess Bride is great. A lot of people like Spirited Away. I'm surprised so many people said the same thing. Princess Mononoke, Pulp Fiction, Lord of the Rings. Oh, that's sorted by. Yeah, that's cool. I knew you could do that, but I like completely forgot about that. Alien, Eternal Sunshine of Spotless Mind. That's one of my favorites. So yeah, cool. Who are some of your all-time favorite YouTubers, online video creators, not including T1J? So since these are our lists, will the count not work? Yeah. A lot of people, in terms of people who said one name, ContraPoints is number one. But yeah, because these are lists. Lindsay Ellis, Hassan Abi, Ludwig. I'm a big fan of Ludwig. Cat Black, I love Lindsay Ellis. Cat Black's dope. Philosophy 2, ContraPoints. ContraPoints is the best YouTuber. CGP Gray, of course. A lot of people saying Lindsay Ellis. Legal Eagle's really good. That's a really cool channel. Hank and John Green. Obviously, you know, that's like one of my favorite. They're like the reason that I make YouTube videos. Saikuno. A lot of Twitch streamers in here. D'Angelo Wallace, I've been watching a lot of his stuff lately. Like, D'Angelo's pretty cool. Sean makes good videos. He be wilding out on Twitter sometimes, though. Internet Shaquille. This is an amazing channel. If you're into cooking, food, stuff like that, watch Internet Shaquille. It's like the best food channel. Ever since Bon Appetit went the way of kind of like shot themselves in the foot, Internet Shaquille's like my favorite food related channel now. There was one. There was a couple. Cat Black. Do I know Gothics? No. I really, honestly, I mean, I think PewDiePie is kind of a clown, but I don't really mind his channel. I think the channel's fine. Babish, that's another good food channel. I imagine I probably have a lot of people in my audience that like Vosh. ContraPoints, Lindsay Ellis. I mean, ContraPoints is dope. There's a lot of Hassan too. Okay, this person went ham, but they like Cat Black there. Lindsay Ellis, of course. How do I manage to have no trolls here? We get trolls every now and then, but I think it's just because it's small. There's only like, what, like 70, 80 people watching? But we do every now and then. Yeah, Sola from Bon Appetit works with Babish now. Like, and Sola's like amazing. She was like the best one they had. It kind of reminds me of like, it reminds me of like sports when like, you know, like a player feels like he's not getting paid enough, and they can't come to a deal, and so he leaves the team, and then he goes and wins a championship with another team. That's kind of how I felt when Sola joined Babish. This person said Cat Black is #1. Several Philip DeFranco. I haven't watched Philip DeFranco in a while, but I don't know. I feel like back in the days, Philip DeFranco was kind of obnoxious, but he's fine. I think just the thing with Philip DeFranco is he takes like the sort of like centrist position on a lot of stuff, which is just kind of frustrating sometimes, I guess. But I mean, he's entitled to his opinion, obviously. Lindsay Ellis. I think that I have a very strong overlap with Lindsay Ellis audience. Specifically Lindsay Ellis, I think. And you know, ContraPoints, but I mean everybody watches ContraPoints. But like almost everybody here is saying Lindsay Ellis. Tom Scott. Cat Black. Matt Diavella is really good. That's a really cool channel. T Noir is a PLC channel that y'all should check out. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. How many followers do you have? Wherever you have the most followers. This is just another thing that's just interesting to know. Vast majority of people don't have that many followers, which makes sense. Some of y'all got a couple hundred followers. That's dope. And there's 7 people who have 100,000 or more. I wonder who they are. They're probably people that I know or have heard of. Yeah, I mean, I think that Phil DeFranco he's honest, and I think he actually says what he really believes. I don't think he's like trying to appeal to anyone. He just kind of says his opinions, and I can respect that even if I don't really agree with him. A lot of times these centrists are people that you can clear they're very clearly like kowtowing to a right-wing audience for whatever reason, or they're just like really mad at progressives or feminists, and they just want to stick it to the feminists. They want to own the libs. But I don't really perceive Philip as doing that. Big Joel's really good too, yeah. Did I assume you're talking about Lindsay Ellis, Miles? Did she get canceled for something recently? I mean, what does it mean to be canceled? Did she get dogpiled on Twitter? Yeah. And then she deactivated her account because it was annoying. Did she get canceled? Probably not. I mean, what does it mean to be canceled, though? Is her career over? No. But did they chase her off of Twitter? Yeah. The whole Lindsay Ellis thing, I honestly think I'm missing something, because I went back and read a lot of this stuff and I didn't really get why people were mad. But it just goes to show that Twitter's weird, and the Twitter culture will just like see things in the most possible uncharitable way. So what I gather is she said the main thing was that she I don't even know, what is this movie, Raya? She basically said that this Raya movie was a ripoff of or derivative of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I think that's what she was saying. And she was saying that a lot of movies and a lot of media is that. And people took it as her saying that all Asian movies are the same or some shit like that. Like they were basically accusing her of being racist. But I think she was just saying, hey, these movies are similar. I didn't. By the time I caught onto it, she had deactivated her account, so I didn't see her responses. But she was probably like mad because they were being so uncharitable. And I also think that Lindsay Ellis is one of those people that it's clear to me that being on Twitter and interacting with Twitter makes her unhappy, but she keeps doing it. And I think this was just that. This was just that sort of boiling over. So yeah. And then as Twitter does, they started like digging up other posts of hers and trying to say, well, here's another example. And she made a post recently about how she didn't like the movie Soul. And so people were like, oh, why you don't like movies about black people? And then she said that she didn't like how they or she like criticized I never seen Soul, but apparently there's something with like a miscarriage in it or something, and people were saying that her take on that was weird. I don't know. It's like you can't cancel somebody for disliking a movie. Like, that's fucking stupid. Yeah, I mean, I know. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm like close friends with Lindsay Ellis, but we're friendly, and I follow her on some of her non-public accounts, or at least we're friends on some of her non-public accounts. I'm also one of her patrons, so I did see that post. So I don't want to like just tell all her business, but I think it's just this thing that a lot of us do where we do something that we know makes us unhappy, but we keep doing it. And so she's like always on Twitter. She's always like, you know, dropping takes on Twitter, and she's like very popular. So there's a strong, and she's, you know, she's a person that has been dogpiled in the past. So there's a strong likelihood that being an opinionated person, especially being an opinionated woman on the internet, is going to get you a lot of backlash. And it's almost like she's, I don't want to be perceived as like blaming the victim here, but if you know something is if you know something is bad for your mental health, then you should figure out a way around that, you know? Like, and I think that's what she realized. That's why she deactivated her account. She was like, hey, this sucks. But I mean, I always advocate what I do. Granted, I'm not as popular as Lindsay Ellis or any of these other people, but I pretty much don't read Twitter anymore. I use, like I've showed this on stream before, I use TweetDeck. And on TweetDeck, you can completely what's the word? Curate what you see on Twitter. So like I'm on TweetDeck. This is what I use. On TweetDeck, I probably shouldn't show my PMs, but I don't think there's anything too crazy here. Okay. Nothing too private. I probably should have checked that before showing it, but it's all good. These are my tweets. This is a list that I made of just people that I know don't piss me off. It's a list called good tweets. This is the hashtag I follow. This is just news and politics. And I have one for Jensen Karp. This is the cinnamon toast shrimp dude. I literally am just following this just to see what happens next. But he hasn't posted in 5 days, so but you see there's no Twitter feed here. The main Twitter feed is not here. I don't see you see my notifications are not here. I don't see any of that. If I want to, I can click on a post and read the replies, but that's like a choice that I have to make. I think everybody, if you want to be on Twitter and you're a public figure and you don't want to deal with the drama, I think you should do something like that. That's what I think. That's my view. That's my suggestion. Don't read the feed. Don't read your notification. Don't read your replies. It sucks. You know, you want to engage with your audience, but if you want to, you have to do it in a more measured and controlled way. You can't just willy-nilly read everything because you're gonna drive yourself wild. Like I understand, like, Floyd, the only reason I'm on Twitter is because it's good for my career. Otherwise I would probably delete it. But because I used Twitter, because I do use Twitter, I use it in a very curated way. But yeah, that would be my suggestion. Use as few of the features as possible. Absolutely. You can also you can go into the options and you can make it so that only people that you follow show up in your notifications, things like that. So it's like, maybe I've been canceled a bunch of times and I just never saw it because I don't look at Twitter. I don't know. Maybe I have been canceled. All right. Do you use an ad blocker? This is kind of an outdated question, but it's a question that's been on the other survey, so I just kept it on there. It looks like most people don't use an ad blocker. I feel like ad block was like a really big deal like 5 years ago, but it's like no one cares anymore, really. Also, like, most sites have figured out ways to get around it, so it's like it's not even a thing. If I become a social figure, I would have someone I trust look at comments, tweets, etc. Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people do that. But the problem is they still have access to it. Like, I know Natalie ContraPoints, her Twitter, I think, is run by like an assistant or someone that works for her, but she still has access to it. She can still get on there after she's had a glass of wine and tweet a bunch of weird stuff. But maybe they should let someone look at it before they even hit send tweet, you know. I only run ad block on your videos. Sorry. Honestly, I don't even give a shit about this anymore. So I'm probably not even going to add this question on the next survey. Like, I don't really give a shit about ads anymore. Like, do whatever you want. After you reach a certain level as a YouTuber, ad revenue is just like a bonus. Like, you don't even, I mean, unless you get like millions and millions of views, ad revenue is really not that much. You get way more from things like sponsors and Patreon and other stuff. Like if you have like a video that blows up and you get like 1 million views, yeah, you might get a pretty decent AdSense check, but it's usually not going to be a high percentage of your revenue. So I take what I can get, and honestly, like, even the way it is now, it's still an okay amount, and I can't complain about it. So I'm not really worried about it. Do whatever. Like, I would, like, if I had to choose between you using ad block and watching my videos, or not wanting to watch my videos because there's ads, I would say the first one is better. So just do whatever makes it so that you watch more videos. I heard ad revenue is only pennies or even just $1 or so, even when it's thousands or so of views. Yeah, well, it depends on the channel. It depends wildly per channel. Some people might get 50 cents for 1,000 views, but some people might get $20 for 1,000 views. It really depends on the channel. But so that's why if you're like a huge YouTuber that depends a lot on getting on views, like we're talking about PewDiePie probably makes a shit ton of money from ad revenue. So it probably would be really important for him to make sure that ads are being shown on his videos. Anybody that's getting millions and millions of views every day or even every month, like that really adds up. I mean, that's like, you know, that's maybe tens of thousands of dollars a month at least, if you're getting millions of views per month or per week or so. Okay, yeah, I'm probably gonna delete that question. How'd you find out about T1J? Of course, and this is something that I think over time became more and more true, but YouTube recommended one of your videos to me. Of course, every YouTuber's destiny is controlled by the algorithm. It's really weird and creepy, but that's just the way it is. YouTube kind of decides who lives or dies. Obviously, there's some things that you can do to help, like A, make good videos, B, make really, clickbaity thumbnails and titles, things like that. But ultimately, it's just kind of the luck of the draw. I mean, it's not, I wouldn't say it's totally luck, but luck is a big part of it. And then all these other ones, I don't remember. Another YouTube I watched shouted T1J out. That one GIF set that was on Tumblr, saw as a suggestion on Facebook. That's really weird. I would never expect that. Through the one excellent scene thing. That's cool. So I did this collaboration about X-Men movies. Some of you may have saw that. It didn't get like that many views, but it looks like a couple people found me through that. Upworthy. I got a lot of viewers from Upworthy. Is Upworthy still a thing? No, I'm not like, the algorithm is very good at finding stuff that you like. I can't fault them, but as an individual creator, it's like, man, I would really like to get some views. Can you hook me up with some views? But as a viewer, I think the algorithm, for the most part, is okay. I mean, there have been some hiccups, like when the algorithm was spreading fucking alt-right propaganda and conspiracy theories and stuff, which they seem to have, for the most part, stopped that from happening, but that was a thing. So yeah, Upworthy was like this sort of clickbait site back in the day that used to just share content, usually like progressive social justice type content on social media back in like 2013, 2014. It seems harder to get views on YouTube these days than 10 years ago. I mean, I think that's true, but also not true at the same time. Obviously, it's much more saturated now. There's much more competition, much more videos fighting for views. But also, the algorithm is also much more efficient at sending videos out, and it's sending millions and millions of videos out directly to the people that are most likely to watch them. So, I think with hard work and just give it time, anyone who makes like really good videos can probably at least build a little bit of an audience. Well, I don't think that YouTube specifically has a problem with right-wing media, but I think they have a problem with like Nazis and shit and race realists and shit like that. But yeah, the algorithm rules all. With regard to formal academic education, which best applies to you? Another sort of basic demographic question. Most people are either in college or have graduated college. That's interesting. Well, it's not interesting. That makes sense. A lot of people have master's degrees. A lot of 10% are college dropouts. That's what I am too. So what up to my dropout brethren. And then also about 10% in high school or secondary school. The YouTube recommended is responsible for me going from centrist to anti-SJW to then a socialist. Well, yeah, if you get recommended the right videos, you can actually can learn a lot of stuff very quickly. Did I ever read one of the 3 articles about YouTube's racist uncle? I don't think I've seen that. How often do you watch T1J's videos? I only watch the one that seem interesting to me. Most people said that. I eventually get around to watching every video. I watch every video that happens to pop up. So most people just watch the ones that seem interesting, which is fair. That's kind of how I interact with everybody. There's only like a few channels that I watch every single video. So I think that's fine. That's fair. Only 17 people said I rarely or never watch. It looks like a lot of people are new. I must have been like going through a little bit of a growth spurt when I dropped this survey, because a lot of the answers are, well, I don't know. I'm just new. I don't have a pattern yet. I just started like 20 minutes ago. Subscribe today. So that's interesting. What are your favorite T1J videos? Maybe I should have asked what is your favorite, but I think people would still answer many of them. You do count, see if there's any that show up. Diversity versus tokenism. This is color. This video is like blown up. It has like almost 800,000 views now. Healthcare is alright. I think that's one of my most underrated videos. I really like this video, but it didn't get that many views, at least not compared to some of the others. This is a person that's probably been watching for a while, because some of these are newer videos and some of these are older. Like diversity versus tokenism is newer, but then is it okay to punch a Nazi? That's a little bit older. Alcohol and consent is even older. That's another underrated video I think that I made. But I do like when people answer videos that didn't get that many views. They still say it's one of their favorite videos. So it just makes me more okay that, because sometimes you can get into a rut where it's like, oh man, this didn't really get that many views. Maybe I should have made it, or maybe I should have tried to do something else. But that's still, it doesn't have to be the most popular video. It still means something to just a smaller number of people. And those people matter too, you know? Someone mentioned diversity in a good place, which means that they just did this survey like last week. What socio-political categories do you most identify with? This is another one where there's just a bunch of answers. Feminism, actually the number one answer here, which is interesting. Environmentalism, leftism, socialism. A lot of socialists remained viewers of the channel even after I had my big reveal that I wasn't a socialist, even though I think everybody knew that already. Progressive, anti-capitalist, democratic socialist, social democrat. So yeah, basically what you would expect. We're lefties for the most part here, although there are a few conservatives, it seems like. Even a few people that identify with anti-feminism. Liberalism. And a lot of this, I know that I talk about how these labels kind of just mean different things to different people, but I'm more interested in what they mean to you and which ones you identify with. Is conservatism the new counterculture video? Interesting. I believe that was a stream highlight video, so it's definitely not one of the ones that got a lot of views. Have you clicked the notification bell for T1J's videos? No, I do not use this feature. That's the number one. But number two is yes, so that's good. Listen, notification bell, I understand if you don't use it. I use it for maybe like 4 channels. It's kind of annoying to have just stuff pop up all the time if it's not someone that you just have to watch. So I have it for channels that I just really love and I know that I want to watch every single video. Like I have it for Captain Disillusion. I have it for ContraPoints. I have it for... I don't have it. I watch every Vlogbrothers video, but I don't have it for them because I'm always on their channel, and plus they upload videos twice a week, so it's a little bit annoying. But if it's cool if you do, I think it's one of those metrics that the YouTube algorithm looks into. Also, it's just a good way to make sure you watch all the videos that you want to watch. Just because it pops up doesn't mean that you have to watch it, but especially for live streamers, because YouTube hasn't really come up with a great way to do live streaming. So notification bells are the best way to keep up with live streams. Some people say that the YouTube, it doesn't work when they click the bell. But that's fine. It's whatever you want to do. I'm not super worried about that. You watch T1J's videos on Facebook? No, because I don't use Facebook. I expected that to be the number one answer. Facebook seems to be not that popular, at least in within a certain crowd, especially not for watching YouTube. I use Facebook all the time. That's kind of that's like the primary way I communicate with people in my life. Like I'm much more likely to Facebook message someone than I am to text them or DM them. But yeah, I can see a lot of people not using Facebook. No, I prefer to watch them on YouTube. That also makes sense. A lot of people didn't know my videos were on Facebook. That also makes sense because Facebook doesn't have discoverability in the same way that YouTube does. I honestly think Facebook is pretty dumb for content. I don't really take it that seriously anymore, but I do put my videos on there just so there's a place for it, and just so the few people that Facebook decides to show it to can watch it. What do you reckon about the Vlogbrothers model of not chasing growth in view numbers / subs instead of trying for heavier engagement? Well, I think that's cool. I mean, I think that that's a very fulfilling way to do stuff, but they can afford to do that because they are so successful in other things. Like, for example, they do SciShow and Crash Course. If you think that those aren't chasing growth in view numbers and subs, then I think you might be wrong about that. So they're successful in so many other things that they don't really have to focus that much on the Vlogbrothers channel. If that was their only project, I have a feeling that they would probably be doing more to chase growth in view numbers. But it is an interesting thing, and I think it's really cool that they can do that, because they do, at the end of the day, they have this project that they can kind of just do whatever they want on, and I think it's cool to have that. That's kind of how I feel about the live streams. Like, I don't really, I mean, I would like the live stream to grow, but I barely keep the schedule up that I said that I'm supposed to do. I don't really have that many like planned ideas for the stream. It's just a place for me to come and chill and interact with the viewers. Like, it's not, I'm not like going too hard on it. So I get that. But yeah, I don't know. Facebook's weird. I don't think Facebook is a good place for content creators. Apparently a lot of people are successful as Facebook streamers, but I think you have to like get invited to do that, or, well, you don't have to get invited, but if you want to do it for money, they have to like invite you or something like that. I don't know, but Facebook is I don't know. Facebook's dumb. Sexual orientation wise, which of the following best describes you? Mostly straight people, which I suppose makes sense. And then second is bisexual, which I think makes sense for my audience. Again, I think LGBTQ people of a certain kind tend to stick with LGBTQ channels. I think there's a lot of bisexual people that don't feel as strongly associated with the queer channels, or they feel like more comfortable with both, I guess. But there's still a decent amount of people that said queer, but mostly straight people in the audience. I think that makes sense. As I am a straight person and I don't really talk about sexuality that much in my videos. And then there's some other answers. Biromantic. which I guess makes sense. If there's bisexual, then there's probably biromantic. So I guess I'll add that next time. Have you ever supported T1J financially? No, but I would if I could. And no, and I don't plan to. So that's close to like 80% of people who just, the answer is no. And again, that's fine. If you just show up and watch the videos, that is good enough for me. Thanks for checking out the stream. Ailbider. I don't know how to say that, sorry. I'm almost done with this, so we're gonna be ending the stream after this, but anyway, anybody that does support me financially, that's super dope. And in a way, I think that the people who can afford to support channels like me financially, in a way, you're subsidizing the content for other people. You're allowing me to continue doing it and allowing me to increase the quality of it so that the other people can still watch it and enjoy it. So you're doing good work. Do you have pets? A lot of people have cats. Cats was easily the most popular, and then dogs, and then I don't have pets. And then, you know, the other types of pets are not that common. Someone has a tarantula. But yeah, cats and dogs. A lot of people have cats and dogs. It's just, I was just interested. I don't know, nothing too crazy, I guess. Is there anything you don't like about T1J or believe he can improve upon? Nothing really. No, nothing comes to mind. I think the content could be a little shorter and a little more engaging. Maybe use some graphics, animations, and light background music. I feel like I do use graphics, animations, and light background music. Maybe they just want more. And I guess shorter is the thing. I feel like my videos are on, like, in terms of the genre that I'm in, my videos are way shorter than most people's. Like the video essayists, I feel like most of them are anywhere from 20 minutes to 2 hours usually. So I feel like I'm on the shorter end of that. No criticisms. Nothing I can think of. Not really. Sometimes I don't watch T1J's videos because I've had a long day and I'm looking for entertainment, de-stressing rather than challenge. That's fair. I mean, you don't have to watch my videos if that's not what you're looking for in the time. More research videos. See, this person wants longer videos. The other person wanted shorter videos. This person wants longer videos. I think the thumbnails are a bit too saturated. Oh, they definitely are. The point of the thumbnails is not to look good. They're literally just to stand out on the page. And one of the ways that I do that is by increasing the saturation to unnatural levels. But I can test around with that to see if that's even necessary, but I just want it to stand out on the page. Not so far. No, he seems cool. Nah. No, nah, you good. See, a lot of these questions, I mean, I'm sure these people are not being dishonest, but I also think people just want to be polite. I don't like the follow me sound effect. I don't like that the rating bar is hidden. I don't like generally sweeping statements about racial groups at all, including against people of European descent. Okay. Use with stuff like that, I would have to like hear like the very specific example. I'd be okay with longer videos. I guess I'm not a fan of clickbaity titles, but at the same time I get why he sometimes uses them. Only piece of advice is to give your viewers a bit more hope. I feel like your videos are quite critical, which is great, but sometimes they deflate me. I think it would be great if at the end of the videos you inspired your viewers to be more politically, socially engaged. So I feel like if this is a criticism that a lot of people feel, that's really a problem, because this is the opposite of what I want people to feel when they watch my videos. I do feel like I try to inspire people to be hopeful in my videos. That's like a really big purpose of my channel. So if I'm not doing that, then I'm fucking up basically. I don't think I'm gonna remove the follow me voice unless like thousands of people say that it's annoying, but I think it's cool. I think most people like it. He repeated the same mistake of other POC creators. He made fun of a white person seeking help. Did I? I'm reminded of Matt's question and how white people can learn about the black experience, where even though T1J commended Matt's willingness to improve, still favorited a comment about how hilarious it is that the video is essentially a Google tutorial. Personally, this reminds me of a time when I was younger and more prone to anti-SJW ideas. I would ask questions that I think are stupid now in hindsight, but people's hostile response to me without giving me any benefit of the doubt. Okay. I mean, I don't think it was hostile, but and also I feel like this person is putting a lot into just me clicking like on a comment. Like, this isn't even a response to something that I said. It's a response to me favoriting a comment. So I don't know. That's the thing about criticisms. I think people's feelings are valid, but sometimes people's arguments aren't that rational, and it's like I can't really do anything about that. I don't know if I don't think I'm gonna publish a video of highlights, but you can definitely rewatch this stream after it's done. And if you don't want to just watch the whole thing, you can sort of skip through. I wish you put out videos more frequently. Maybe one day. Ditch the paper background. The paper background? Just like the posters in the background? I mean, my shooting area is just a matter of I don't have anything else at the moment. In the future, I will probably improve that, but I can't really improve that at the moment. It would be interesting to see you interact with people who disagree with you, engage more with the arguments on the other side of things. Well, this is just a person that just wants to watch a debate. I think people a lot of times they disguise their obsession with like dramatic confrontations with like some kind of like they're trying to make it seem like you're doing something wrong if you're unwilling to have dramatic debates with people. But that's just not my jam at all. I think in every single video that I do, I engage the opposite arguments. That's kind of like what my videos are, is making an argument. And in the process of making that argument, I introduce the opposing arguments. But I think people just they like watching conflict. And so they're like, why don't you debate people? Why don't you why don't you have a conservative on and like debate their ideas? Like, no, I don't want to do that. I have trouble focusing on videos with the continuous talking head format. Changing visuals, infographics, title cards, keywords, and ideas. Emphasize with on-screen text and anything that does the audio-visual equivalent, adding more paragraph breaks to a large block of text help me focus. I mean, I feel like I do that though. Maybe I don't do it enough. Oh, on the thumbnails, the paper background on the thumbnails. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, if the criticism that the thumbnails don't look good is fine because they're not supposed to look good. That's not the point. And this is just a matter of just YouTube strategy. The entire point of the thumbnails is to catch people's eyes. It's not art. It's not, the thumbnails are not art. They're supposed to stand out on the screen and make people's eyes jump to them. That's literally it. So I will accept the criticism that the thumbnails look bad. So yeah, there's a bunch of these. I don't want to read all of them, but they are very interesting to me. All right, Virginia granted you 3 wishes. What would you wish for? Again, this is another really open-ended one. Health and safety. Long-distance weapons to never be invented. Teleportation. Humans to be more empathic, free access to quality medical care, and end to this pandemic. That's sad when you have an actual hypothetical for like infinite magic, and people are using like, I wish we had healthcare. That's sad. This person just wants money. A picture of a real dinosaur. That's a honestly, I don't mind that one. And people are saying end to COVID. Like it's something that will, I guess, COVID might be around forever, but the pandemic will end at some point. But people would still use their wish on it, which is fair. I got a little less than 3,000 responses. Cure for depression. A lot of people are saying the end of the pandemic. In fact, that is maybe the most common response, is an end to the pandemic. Renovate my mom's house. I feel you. And this is I think this is a really, like, this is a really cliche common question, but I think it's a good question because it really gets people thinking about like what their deepest long-term world-shattering desires are, or it just gives you something, gives you an idea of where their head's at in general. Like, I know a lot of leftists, it's not woke for them to say that they want a bunch of money, so they won't say that. But then you see a lot of people say, I wish I was rich, or I wish that I had enough money to take care of my family, or I wish I had enough money to renovate my mom's house, you know. So it's just interesting to see where people's heads are at. So like a lot of people are like, I want a bunch of money, and then a lot of other people are like, end capitalism. But other people are like lifelong financial security. And finally, the last question, which says, this is the last question. Anything else you want to say? There's a lot of paragraphs here. I don't want to spend too much time on these. A lot of people just said nope, and a lot of people say thanks for what you do, I love your content, stuff like that. I think that's the gist of all of these. But yeah, this took longer than I thought it would. But it's not fair. I mean, it's not that bad. It's only been about 3 hours. I thought I could get it done in about 2 hours. But yeah, so I do that every year. And it's just a good way to just keep an eye on the audience, see what everybody's up to, how everybody's feeling, and just to get an idea of, you know, the demographics and things of that nature. But that did take longer than I expected, and I do have to get out of here, get some things done. Again, I try to stream on Mondays and Fridays, so I will try to stream this Friday. But I do have a video coming out on Friday as well, and that is definitely happening. So look out for that. If you have access to the description below this video, you can see all my social media links and all that stuff down there. I'm out of focus. Thank you for coming to the stream. Thanks for checking it out. I hope it was interesting to see. And if you missed the first part of the stream, you can, there will be a replay of the stream. Just go to my channel page and scroll down and you'll see the playlist of all of the past live streams. So you can watch this live stream as well as past live streams. Every one of my live streams is archived, but they are unlisted, which means they aren't public. You have to have the link to them to see them. So you have to go to my channel page if you want to see them. But yeah, I think that's about it. Sorry for the hiccups in the stream earlier. I think it was just YouTube messing up for a minute. But I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I hope you all have a decent rest of the day and rest of the week. I'll see you on Friday, either on the stream or in video form. Okay, bye.
Insane.